afternoon, everyone. I'm Krishna, and I am driving the solutions architecture team for OutSystems in India. And over the next 15 minutes, we are going to talk about how OutSystems is helping lowering the generative AI adoption. And in the previous session, you all heard about the guardrails, security, and the necessary controls in place to securely expose your existing enterprise data to generative AI, as well as deriving results. Could be dashboards, could be applications, could be APIs, could be integrations. How do you effectively derive results from those generative AI as well as with your existing data, right? That is what we're going to see for the next 15 minutes. 10 minutes I'm going to talk, and I have my partner in crime, Parth here. Here we are going to do a very small demo as well in terms of, we are going to next, probably we could go directly to the next slide. So this is a poll. What we wanted you guys to do basically is, if you can scan this and see what of these three use cases you wanted to see today as a demo. And we are going to create this application net new in front of you. Within 5 minutes, we are going to show you a fully working application of whatever you're going to choose here, right? So with that, don't worry, the QR is going to come on all slides as well if you miss it right now. So yeah, I'm going to start with this, right? This was what Jensen spoke about roughly about 7 months before back, right? When he introduced AI, agentic AI, as well as generative AI, when it was catching up. This is the comment that he made, saying that, the days of developers hand coding every single line of code, as we know it, is going to get over really, really fast, right? AI agents are going to replace the code generation part, and how do we accelerate that journey is what we wanted to talk to you, right? So I think, you guys have seen his presentation as well as the recent presentation which he did when he introduced the 50 series of cards as well, right? He's talking about how the graph goes up, saying that today we are in generative AI, then we are going to go to agentic AI, and then we are going into robotics AI, right? So yeah, so with this in backdrop, right, these are some of the numbers I wanted to kind of, show you guys before delving into the presentation or the content in itself, right? So Gen AI is at the forefront of, innovation across all GCCs. And, where are we spending, or where are we seeing the adoption, right? So the 44% of people who took the survey said it is about increasing operational efficiency, right? And about 43% on cost savings, 42% on personalization, and about 41% on innovation, right? So this is where GCCs wants to spend their money with respect to generative AI investments to improve these pillars, right? And a second one is, a little bit drilling down into what, with the context of what Jensen was talking about, and, how this is going to impact your software development lifecycle, right? Where are companies planning to use generative AI from a software development lifecycle? So one is code refactoring, that is legacy applications modernization or refactoring in itself. User interface design, making these designs, personalization like we spoke in the previous slide, document generation, code generation, DevOps optimization, and testing, right? About 93% of the organizations that we spoke to want to increase their investment very specifically for software development, Gen AI investment in software development, right? And shifting gears into what are the challenges today in doing so. I think the previous presenters did an excellent job of quantifying this. You can see that in the survey as well. About 42% the challenges are regarding data privacy and security, right? How do you, securely enable generative AI applications or use of generative AI within your enterprises, right? And about 34% are talking about technology complexity in adopting these generative AI algorithms. And that is precisely what we're going to cover in the presentation. How do we lower that technology barrier, right? And then technology infra-related challenges. Do you want to run it on cloud? Do you want to run it on-premise? So on and so forth, right? And in summary, these are the challenges I think, the previous presenters also spoke about. First is governance, right? When you embark on a new generative AI-based software development lifecycle, governance is really, really important. And one of the governance problems, all you guys would have heard already, like who owns the code, right? When you ask Llama to generate a program, who really owns the code? I think that is a problem which is not solved yet, which will get solved eventually, but then again, that is the issue that we have today. Second is security, right? How secure is your data as well as applications that you create, so that, whether the engine is going to learn from what you have enterprise data, and is it going to feed that data to somebody else, so on and so forth. And then black box problem, you never know what is the bias, inherent bias that these models are going to have based on what you're going to, do your entire application on, right? If for example, if a model is heavily trained on analytics use case, when it is going to generate an application, if you're using the same model to generate application, it's going to heavily go towards a experience on numbers, right? It's going to, even if you want a simple incident dashboard, it's going to heavily rely on analytics related, user representation, basically, right? That is the black box problem. And the fourth issue we've seen is customization, right? How effectively can you customize these generative AI to feed into your specific use cases? And this is where low code comes in. As you guys know, low code is not a new concept. It's been around for about at least 17, 18 years now, trying to create applications without having to write code, right? Alternative to high code, which is your traditional coding, and then you are trying to create a low code. The low code platform, actually what it does is gets you to the same endpoint without you having to write these codes, right? So from a governance perspective, what we are talking about is, when you have a platform where your data resides, which already has these governance related controls, data controls, then you would be able to safely expose your data to generative AI on premise, so that you can overcome these challenges and you can innovate faster. And the second point is about security, right? When you parallelly check the results for OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities or secure DevSecOps practices, etc., while you're creating these applications, you're also making sure the applications are secure, so that you are not having you are not left with an afterthought about security, right? The third is, it is using a visual approach. You know what you are dragging and dropping, you know what you are actually, creating these applications for. So the black box problem as well as the bias problem is solved because you are visualizing the data. You are not just writing code, syntaxes, etc., but you are actually visualizing the application and data, so that it removes your black box problem as well. And finally, from a customization perspective, like I said, it reduces a lot of time from a code generation perspective for the users to really concentrate on customization, right? So Mentor is what we are calling the generative AI SDLC given by OutSystems. And as you can see here, it helps right from discovery and design. That is, you will be able to, that is what we're going to see in the demo as well. 2 more minutes. Discovery and design from a perspective of, you can you can design your applications, you can have your business requirement document flushed out, just drag and drop, and you can see the applications coming out of that, prototypes and applications. And second is build and test in terms of, not just from a application generation perspective, but you can continuously do change management as well. Using generative AI, using native language programming, you would be able to, enhance these applications, enhance the functionalities of these applications, deploy it in a secure cloud, which is provided by OutSystems. You can scale to the level, we have a booth number 4. You can talk to us for any examples on scalability that we have from a customer perspective, and continuously maintain and evolve the code. Right? That being said, this is a glimpse of app generator. I'm not going to go much into here because we're going to see that in the demo. And this is the generated app, how it looks like. And this is where I wanted to spend a little bit of time. So when we are talking about the application generated, this is something parallelly we do to the applications that you generate for these purposes, right? So we call it as Code Quality Mentor, which automatically goes through every single line of code that you generate, and it automatically tries to identify if there are any vulnerabilities, if there are any active security threats in your application that's going to expose your data, and it helps you also mitigate the same, right? And in a nutshell, this is how it looks like. This is how the future of app development looks like. Generate applications, full stack, scalable applications using generative AI with zero coding, basically. Iterate and do change management, evolve your applications constantly with zero effort just through generative AI. Embed your applications with AI, the open AI models or any AI models that you want. You want to train your data on it. You want to enhance your application experiences using generative AI. You can do that with zero AI expertise. And finally, validate, again, without any critical bugs or tech debt, and go into production, right? So in a nutshell, this is about OutSystems as a platform. We help you do high, visual development of applications. You can either drag and drop applications, or you can just specify your requirement document, and the applications get generated automatically. And it has an integrated DevSecOps for security and governance, so that you would be able to seamlessly move these applications from development to production all the way in minutes. And finally, cloud native infrastructure out of the box. That is, we are hosted on public cloud, and you would be able to, we pre-orchestrate that cloud pipeline for you so that you can move fast into production. Right, that being said, let me turn it over to Parth for the demo, and let me quickly check which use case we're going to build out. Sorry, network is taking a bit of time. Okay, I think loan origination is the use case that we have maximum votes for. Okay, Parth, if you can start with loan origination.
Sure, absolutely. So before we actually go into designing and creating our application, because we have selected loan origination, what we have prepared over here for you guys is just sample BRD application documents. And this is also something that Mentor can do. Instead of giving it a prompt, you can actually give it a BRD document, something that explains your application. And what I would probably like to do is just take a few moments to go through this document, what these documents could be like, what all you can mention. So, the introduction to your application, the purpose of the application, what is it supposed to do, the scope, which can talk about what exactly your application is trying to, cover, and the functional requirements. We have, let's see, I'll just zoom in for a better view. So we have system purpose, system context, and then probably what we want to see over here, all the things that you can mention, just some functional requirements, right? So what is the data model going to look like, all the way down to, the entities and the fields that you want to see in your application. Some of the roles over here, or you're talking about customers, administrator roles, a little bit of the workflow approval data model that we're talking about, notifications, so on and so forth. And then the document briefly covers the main features of the application, which is, application submission, application tracking, and then document management, and finally review and approval process. And you wrap that up with roles and permissions. So again, who all are going to be using your applications, the different roles that you want. So administrator, loan officer, customer service representative, a compliance officer. And finally, you could also have some footer or some, extra note in terms of non-functional requirements. So over here, we're just talking about, just a abstract requirement that, hey, my system should be able to handle 1,000 simultaneous users without major performance degradation. All right, and that's it. So I will actually go in here. You should be able to see this. So this is Mentor AI at work. I can actually give it a prompt right now, or I can just throw in our document that's banking and loan origination platform. And I can now add anything else. So let's just say generate a loan origination application with a green theme. It could be anything, right? And I let it do its thing.
So by the way, the BRD does not have to be in any specific format. We are using generative AI to
develop
parse
the
the
BRDs
document,
in the first
understand
place.
the content. So he just went through the sections of the BRD to say, how does it resemble to your normal BRD? Yep. Right? So that is why we wanted to show that.
Now, before it actually spits out the application for you, it's going to show you a quick overview of what it might be like, right? So it's talking about all the data structures in the application, your database tables, the loan application, customer, and I'll just quickly point out over here as well, you have this OutSystems icon here. By default, it's also intelligent enough to identify if there is data being pulled in or common data or common connections from other applications. So there is potentially another application on my tenant right now which has customer data. It's going to intelligently pull in that as well. If you're using Salesforce, it's automatically going to identify Salesforce connection and pull in that data as well. So anything else I want to add over here, any other roles, I can probably add them right here. But for now, let's just go ahead and generate this application. And what Mentor is going to do for me is right from my screens, my logic, my data structures, including even sample data if you haven't specified, your data models, logic layer, everything. It's gonna generate for us. So we'll probably let it go for a while, and it should
I think you don't have time.
throw us.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, why don't you switch over to the application we've already, yeah, okay, it's already.
Okay.
Perfect.
So it did generate the application, and just let it do its thing. So now what we see over here is that it's gone ahead and taken care of the dashboard, our loan application, credit bureau reports, documents, approval workflows, notification, customers, and another screen for us where we can import data. What I can do right now is open this application myself to test it out. Alternatively, if there's any other changes I want to do in the application, let's say I just check the document table over here. It's maybe I want to have a status field in my documents as well, so I can go over here, status in documents.
So this is the change management part we spoke about. You don't have to open the app to make a change. Again, through NLP, you can change the application as well.
Right. So based on what you're trying to add, it will give you suggestions, and now it's gone over here. It's added the status, and now I can also publish these changes. Quickly look at this application over here, and we'll just quickly run you through
30 seconds, 30 more seconds.
Yeah.
So as you can see here, it's a working application. You can walk through the screens, default rules, whatever we gave, and change management is as simple as what we showed before. As you can see here, I mean, even from a low-code perspective, you still need to drag and drop to create applications. But what we have done using generative AI in a secure, governed environment is ability to create applications just by dragging and dropping your BRD. So I know we are running out of time. We are in booth 4. If any questions, please let us know. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you.